Hello everyone, welcome everyone. Um, I'm just doing a little mic check over here. Can you guys let me know, am I audible? Please, it'll be great if you can let me know if I am visible, if I'm audible, you can see me. Please just let me know in the chat box if I'm audible and visible to everyone. Okay. Okay, that's great to hear that everyone can hear me, that everyone can see me. So I guess we'll get started. Okay. So today, actually, we are here as a part of another one of our series of webinars, in which we are going to discuss various topics related to space science and astronomy. Okay, so today, what we are going to discuss, we are going to discuss one of the major celestial events. We are going to discuss what a meteor shower is, and in particular, we are going to look at a particular meteor shower called the Delta Aquarids Meteor Shower. Okay. Now, this is a term that you guys might be familiar with. Okay, this is a term that you might have heard of before. What meteor showers are? Since you guys are, I'm guessing you guys are already interested in space science and astronomy, and these things fascinate you. So this is something that you might be aware of already, like as a term, and it on its own. So so today we are going to look at that in a bit more detail, trying to find out some more details about it, trying to find out how we can actually observe a meteor shower, what exactly is a meteor shower, what is happening in the background of it, right? Is it a star? Is it a missile? What exactly is it? And we are going to look at some specifics related to it. Okay, everyone. So let's get started. Let me just share my presentation with you. Just a second. Okay, so I hope you can see my presentation now. And before I talk more about meteors, have any of you ever made a wish to a falling star? Like you saw a falling star and you made a wish because there's a tradition, right? That if you see a falling star, you make a wish related to it, and that falling star will make your wish come true. So please let me know if you have ever made one of these wishes. Never. I see many no's coming up. I'm truly surprised that many of you have not done it because it's such a common thing. At least in India, I see it all the time. People say "टूटता तारा है," wish करते हैं उसके साथ में. Even movies, many of our movies have these sayings that show that maybe a heroine makes a wish when she sees a falling star. Many times. Okay, so this is a tradition related to meteors. Any of you ever see a falling star? A meteor, ever you've seen it by yourself? Ever seen a meteor shower by yourself, guys? Okay, I see many of you have made wishes too, so I'm glad to hear that many people are aware of this tradition. Okay, so yes, I guess some of you may have seen a meteor shower too. That is also great to hear that you've seen it already because it's such a fascinating event when you see something like fall out of the sky. It is amazing on its own. Even if you don't know much about it, it is still amazing. So today we are going to look at meteor showers and a specific meteor shower, that is the Delta Aquarids Meteor Shower, and we call it the blaze of glory because it is something that is going out in the form of an explosion, right? It is exploding in the sky. So we are like in the form of a streak of light, it is ending its lifetime. So we are trying to find out what is happening in the background. But before we get to all of that, before we try to understand all of these things, I want to go for the basics. I want to build a foundation on which we will understand meteor showers. Before understanding the showers, we must know what exactly is a meteor. What exactly is a meteor is something that we have to analyze before we get to understanding what meteor showers are, right? So, what exactly are meteors? Is it a comet? Is it an asteroid? Is it an alien trying to signal that it has arrived on planet Earth? Right? It could be one of those things, but it's something very simple. If I put it in the simplest of terms, I would say that it is a body of matter. It is a chunk of matter, could be a rock, could be a piece of ice. It is a chunk of matter that earlier was in outer space, then it was attracted by the Earth's gravity, and now it has entered the Earth's atmosphere. So, when a chunk of matter from outside of Earth's atmosphere, from space, enters into the Earth's atmosphere, and due to the friction of the Earth's atmosphere, it heats up, it becomes incandescent, or it starts glowing. That object is called a meteor. Now, this could be anything. This could be an asteroid. This could be a comet, like the one that wiped out the dinosaurs. That was something that came into the Earth's atmosphere, right? So it could be any of these objects, like asteroids, like comets, or it could be a third category of objects called meteoroids. Meteoroids, not meteorite, meteoroids, ROIDS, right? So meteoroids is the third category, and yeah. So I see some people have tried to express their definitions related to meteoroids too. So we are going to discuss more about meteoroids because meteor showers, they are more associated with meteoroids than anything else. So we are going to discuss more about meteoroids. What exactly are meteoroids? Meteoroids are the remnants of maybe collisions of asteroids, right? One case is two asteroids came together, they collided, and now they are in smaller pieces and they are floating around in space. So that could be termed as meteoroids, or it could be pieces of a comet. Now, comets, as they revolve around the sun in their orbit, when they come close to the sun, they break up due to the heat energy, due to the gravitational energy of the sun. They break apart. Now, these pieces that are left behind a comet, that can also be termed as meteoroids, right? There's a wide range of sizes when I talk about meteoroids. So there's a wide range of sizes, and it could be the size of a grain of sand to it like up to a meter in size. So it can go up to any size depending on that, between a grain of sand and 1 meter rock. So that is what a meteoroid is, and when it enters the atmosphere of the Earth, it becomes a meteor. So with this, we have established some basis of what exactly is um, causing the phenomena of meteor showers. What is the object that is creating this? But how is it doing this? Now, I don't want you all to freak out much that these things are coming towards the Earth and they are going to slam into the Earth and destroy it, because they are coming in at speeds of 71 kilometers per second. So, a really high velocity. But even at those velocities, most of them, like 95%, 97% of them, they don't make it to the surface of the Earth. They are, most of the time, they burn up in the sky, right? So, a meteor shower is made out of meteoroids. It is created from meteoroids, but this happens when, like this phenomena, the celestial event that we call a meteor shower, it happens when a number of meteoroids or a number of meteors are observed together and they are radiating from a single point in the sky, right? They are coming together into the sky from a singular point. That is when we say that there's a meteor shower, right? That is the point when we say it's a meteor shower, when multiple of these meteors, they come into the Earth's atmosphere and it's like a whole fireworks show in the sky. Okay, so how is it caused? Earlier I told you about meteoroids, and meteoroids have got these small orbits like these. You can see it in the image over here. They've got little orbits like these, and they go around in that fixed orbit over time, right? When the Earth passes through these streams of meteoroids, this thing is called a meteoroid stream. So when the Earth passes through that, these objects, they don't have any other option but to get attracted by the Earth's gravity and fall to it. So that is how we are getting meteoroids out of these meteoroid streams, and that is how we are getting meteors. They are seeming to come from a singular point. Like in this image over here, you can see many of these meteors are coming through. They are coming towards the planet, but they seem to be all coming from a singular point somewhere around here. I could say this thing is coming up like this, or these things are following a singular track. From a single point, they are originating. So this is what a meteor shower is. This is generally a very timed event. There are almost hundreds of meteor showers every year. Every year we'll have hundreds of meteor showers, but among them, 30 of them are major meteor showers. The kind that is very important for us, or which is very grand. So we say they are mostly 30 meteor showers that happen throughout the year that can be said to be important. So one of these we are going to discuss them today, and their name is, as I said earlier, its name is Delta Aquarid. Okay, so let's discuss more about Delta Aquarids. Let's focus down. Let's focus more on Delta Aquarids themselves and find out the origin of Delta Aquarids. So we know that meteor showers are being caused by meteoroids, and meteoroids are being created by the breakup of comets. When comets break into different parts, we get meteoroids. So since comets are the creators of these meteoroids, there must be a comet responsible for creation of meteoroids for this particular meteor shower. And that comet has been identified as Comet 65P Mach-Holes. It was discovered by someone named Donald Mach-Holes in the 1980s. So that is why it's named that. But even now, there is not solid confirmation that this particular object is the originator of Delta Aquarids. It's not 100% confirmed till now, but for now, our best estimate states that this is the comet responsible for the creation of this particular meteor shower. There was some uncertainty, like there's another group of objects like the Marsden and Crooked sun grazing comets. So they could also have been responsible, but for now, we believe that this is the correct answer. And the image that you see on the right side right now, that's the sun in the center. It has been hidden by a particular instrument called the coronagraph. You can also see Venus over here, so that we can see the comet in its full glory. So this is the comet over here that is supposed to be responsible for this meteor shower. And it is a comet that has got a very small cycle of 6 years. So it takes 6 years to complete its orbit around, or like almost 6 years to complete its orbit around the sun. That is the 96P comet Mach-Holes, right? So this is the thing that is making it all possible, that is creating this beautiful phenomena of the Delta Aquarids meteor shower. But interestingly, the Delta Aquarids have been known for a very long time. Their first recorded observation is from the 1870s. In the 1870s, we figured out that there was a particular meteor shower in this time range, and it was made by someone called G.L. Tupman. So he spotted 65 meteors, and he related them to the Delta Aquarids. But further study led to the whole discovery of the concept related to Delta Aquarids. Now, I have a question for everyone. And that question states that the name of the comet that is causing this whole meteor shower is Comet 96P, right? So I should call my meteor showers Comet 96P showers. Why Delta Aquarids? Okay, someone has asked what is the big white ball. That is supposed to be the sun. It has been hidden by a instrument. so that we can see the stuff that lies around us. Yes. In the meantime, please tell me, why would I call it Delta Aquarids if the comet that is causing this whole meteor shower is Comet 96P? I would like to see like what theories you guys can come up with. Please answer using the chat box. What do you think? Like if I've got a strawberry cake, I don't call it by because it is strawberry flavored, so I would just call it a strawberry cake. I won't just call it something else. I won't call it maybe watermelon cake or by some other name. We generally try to name things directly associated with things that are creating them. So why would I go for this name? Okay. I've got some people who are getting closer to the answer. Okay. Okay, so let's try to find out why exactly are we doing this? Why are we naming them delta aquarids, right? Now, I want you to revisit the concept that we discussed when we were discussing meteor showers. That all meteor showers seem to be coming out of a single point. Keyword being seem, they don't exactly come from a singular point, but they seem to be coming from a singular point. That singular point is called the radiant. In this case, it is represented by this white circle. All the meteors, it seems like they are shooting out of that gun, like there's a gun placed over here and it is shooting out these things. Like they can all be traced back to that circle. So from the perspective of an earth-based observer, someone who is standing on the surface of the earth, he's looking up at the sky and he's trying to see the meteor shower. So he will feel like all the meteors are coming from a singular point in the sky, and that point is said to be the radiant. That point is said to be the radiant or apparent radiant because it is an apparent phenomenon. They are not actually coming from a single point. The naming of a meteor shower is related to where that radiant is. So some of you have already guessed it. Kudos to you that you know the answer to this. For the others, I would like to reiterate it. For delta aquarids, the origination point, the radiant point of Aquarids lies in the Aquarius constellation. You can see the Aquarius constellation over here. Aquarius, the water bearer constellation over here, right? This is the Aquarius constellation. And over here, you can see represented by this green dot over here. It represents the meteor shower. It is representing the radiant point of the meteor shower. So the delta aquarids, they are represented by this point and they seem to be coming out of the Aquarius constellation, hence the name Aquarids. So one part of the name, we know that why is it being called Aquarids? Why delta? Another part of this is delta. So yes, another part of this is delta. And why would it be called delta? Just to make it sound cool or sciencey? You might think about that like that way, but all these things, they have their own significance. It's called delta because it lies close to the delta star of Aquarius constellation. So this is the Aquarius constellation, and this highlighted star over here, in the leg of the Aquarius, that is delta aquarid. The name of that star, you can read it over here. It is the delta aquarid star, and since this particular meteor shower's radiant point is close to it, that is why we call it the delta aquarids, right? That is how we have named it delta aquarids. Now there is another aquarid meteor shower. It's called the eta aquarid meteor shower, and we had to differentiate the two. So that is why we have added delta in front of its name with relationship to the star that lies close to it, the star that is in proximity to it. So I hope till this point everybody is following along, right? If you have any questions, please keep them written down somewhere, right? I will answer all questions at the end. Okay, so in the delta star, we have got the radiant point right next to the delta star. I want you all to pay attention to this part too. So this constellation, you may be able to identify there is a horse over here, and some of the more advanced astronomers among you may be even able to name that particular constellation. It's called Pegasus. This constellation is called Pegasus, and this square inside of Pegasus is called the Great Square of Pegasus. So I just want you to pay attention to that constellation also exists. So we'll see why you want to see that just in a minute. For now, I just want you to pay attention to that. Okay. So we've got Delta Aquarids over here. We've got Delta Aquarid star over here, and let's see the radiant point in comparison to all of these extra features that we have seen right now. So we've got the Aquarids over here, and in this month we'll also see Jupiter being in the Aquarius constellation for some time. So you can also see Jupiter right next to it. If you are going to see Delta Aquarids, you might even be able to spot Jupiter right next to it during the course of some time. I'll explain how you will do it. For now, I want your patience. I'll get to that. So you can see the Delta Aquarid radiant is over here. And you can also establish that same relation with the Great Square of Pegasus. If you want to see it just before dawn, you can see the Great Square of Pegasus. If you draw a straight line through the two stars of the square and take it to another star of the Pisces constellation, it's called Fomalhaut star over here. If you draw a straight line like this, you will get the radiant lying in on that line. So that is the radiant of the Delta Aquarid meteor shower, right? Okay. So that is the radiant of Delta Aquarid meteor shower, right? I have been saying this word radiant a lot, and it messes with you if you say a word again and again, right? Has this happened to you guys sometime? When you say a single word again and again, it messes with you a little bit. So this brings me to another question. Why exactly are we getting radiants? Why do we need a radiant at all? Why is there a radiant? So why exactly is there a radiant? That is my question. And right. So because all the meteors, they are entering the Earth's atmosphere parallel to the Earth. They enter the atmosphere parallel to the Earth. They are not coming from a singular point. They are all coming in together. So why have a radiant? And there's a very interesting reason behind it. Have you guys ever been to a railway track? If you've been to a railway track and you look down a series of parallel tracks like this, you look down these tracks and you try to see the end of these tracks towards the horizon, towards the end of the tracks, right? You know by experience and your common knowledge that all railway tracks, they lie parallel to each other, at least the ones that are in a set. So since these railway tracks are parallel, to me, these lines should go straight. Why are they joining together? The reason for having radiants and the reason why these railway tracks seem to converge at a single point is the same. The same reason causes both these phenomena. It's a very strange thing. It's something that all of us have always seen in our lives, but we have never really paid attention to this fact that railway tracks seem to converge even though they are parallel. So there's a reason behind it. That reason is that our vision is designed in such a way that initially the objects that are closer to us, they take up more area of our vision, and the objects that are further away from us, they take lesser area of our vision. And that creates this illusion that these parallel lines, they are converging. Even though if you follow these parallel lines, it is sure that they are never going to converge because they are by definition parallel. But the same phenomena, because when the meteors, they get close to us, they occupy a larger area of our vision, and when they are originating, they occupy a smaller area of our vision. That leads to this effect of having an apparent radiant point, right? This I found this very strange when I was investigating it. I found it very counterintuitive and very strange. So I hope you guys also found that interesting. Okay, so I have told you all about this meteor shower, and for the past few minutes, I've been getting spammed. When are we going to see the meteor shower? Are we going to see it live? I am going to teach you how to see the meteor shower by yourself. Okay, I'm going to teach you how to do it by yourself because you don't need me. I want you all to become astronomers on your own. So I'll tell you how to do it on yourself. First things first, you need to know when you can see it. When is the time period in the whole year that you can actually see this phenomena? So the timing for this, the duration in which Perseids are visible in the sky is from July 12th to August 23. It is a very long and rambling sort of meteor shower. It does not have a very clear peak. It has got a nominal peak. That means on 29th of July, that is the nominal peak. On this day, the amount of meteors in the sky, they will be the maximum. But I don't want you guys to focus on this. They will be available in the sky during this whole duration from July 12th. So some time has already passed, but a lot of it is still left. And since this particular webinar is happening on the 27th of July, so you still have some time till the nominal peak, and you have even more time till the actual dates when it would be the perfect situation to see these particular meteors. So what are you supposed to do? You are supposed to look towards the sky during this time period, but on the 29th of July, on the day of the nominal peak, there's a small problem. The problem is that there's a waning gibbous moon in the sky. And as you know, meteors are sort of faint in comparison to all the other bright objects in the sky. So that faint meteor could get washed out by the waning gibbous moon. So that is something that is affecting our nominal peak. But in the first half of August till maybe 15th, the moon will have such a position that you will still be able to see the meteor showers. So I guess it will be covered up during that time. And since this particular meteor shower does not have a clear peak, instead of that, it is more distributed. So that sort of works for us in this situation, right? And in order to see it, you can see it after 10 p.m. So if you want to see it, you will have to go out and look at the sky after 10 p.m. and till 3:30 or 4 a.m. in the morning. These meteor showers could be there in the sky. The meteors could be falling towards the earth from 10 p.m. to let's say 3:30, right? The best time to do this is after midnight. So after 12 midnight and between 3:30, and the absolute best time to do this would be 2 a.m. in the morning. So sort of a strange time, but that is the time when the sky is darkest, the light pollution is minimum, and at that time you will be able to see your meteors properly. So that is the way you are supposed to do it. There is another plus point to doing this. During this time period from July 12th and August 23, another set of meteor showers also happens. So there's a parallel meteor shower. It's called the Perseids Meteor Shower, and it happens from July 17th to August 24th. So using the same opportunity, you will also be able to observe the Perseids Meteor Shower. Okay. Now that you know when you have to see it, you must also know where to see. You know when you have to go out in the night sky and look at it. Now you need to know when, like where exactly in the sky you will do it. Okay. So in order to know that, please just pay attention to the screen. This highlighted area on the screen, that represents the radiant point. That is the radiant point from which all the meteors will seem to come out of. If you want to see the meteor shower, you do not have to look at the radiant point. The radiant point will be the least likely location of the meteor. So you know that you don't have to look in this area. One easy way to do this is to look between the radiant point and the zenith. Zenith is the point directly above your head in the sky. If I turn upwards and look just above my head, the point that I see, that is the zenith, and it is represented over here. So you have to look between the zenith and the radiant point, or between the zenith and the horizon in the southern direction. So between southeast and southwest, somewhere in between this area, you will be able to see your meteor showers. They will be sort of shooting out of this area, just not in this particular region of the sky. You will be seeing it over here in this area, but not over here. So that is where you are supposed to see it. People who are in the southern hemisphere, again, I'm repeating it, in the southern hemisphere, not in the southern part of India. The whole of India is in the northern hemisphere. People who are in the southern hemisphere, they will have an easier time seeing the meteor shower because it will be higher in the sky for them. But even in the northern hemisphere, it is visible almost for all of the more southern areas of the northern hemisphere, so to say. Okay, so most of India will be able to see it. Even in the other parts of the northern hemisphere, you will be able to see it. Okay. Regarding your questions about telescopes, I see someone asking questions about telescopes. Please, I want you to stay patient for a few minutes. I will answer that. Okay. I'll answer that at the end. So that is how you are supposed to see it. That is where you are supposed to see it in the sky. Now, as I mentioned earlier, the Perseids are also going to be there in the sky parallel to the Delta Aquarids at the same time. So it's July 17th. Delta Aquarids started July 12th. They will be in the sky parallelly. So this is the Perseus constellation. And near the head of the Perseus constellation, you can see Perseids over here, right over here. Now, Perseids are going to be mostly in the northern area of the sky. Delta Aquarids are going to be in the southern area of the sky. So if you can pay attention to both parts of the sky, you might be able to see meteors coming from both of these meteor showers, and there may even be situations where they cross each other. So these meteors, they sometimes they leave some small trails behind them. You may even be able to see some crossing, which is a very exclusive event. It's a very beautiful event. So if you get the chance, please do go out and see it, because there's a high chance that you may be able to see meteors shooting from both of these meteor showers. Okay, so these are all the details related to the timings and the locations of both of these meteor showers, and you are now equipped to just go out and do it. But in order to do it, you have to follow some tips that will make your life easier. Right? There are some tips that will make your life easier. Okay, they are visible with naked eyes. There is no problem seeing it naked eye. You won't be needing a binocular or a telescope. Okay, there is no need for a binocular or a telescope in order to do it, as you can see on your screens too. The best way to do it is naked eye, because they appear randomly, sporadically throughout the sky. So if you are using your binoculars, your field of view is very limited. You can't exactly see the whole sky at the same time, right? If you are using a telescope, it can focus on a very small area. And also these objects are really fast. So you won't be able to follow them along with them using binoculars or telescopes. So the best option for this is to just go out, lie down on the ground, like lay down a mat, lie down, bring some snacks with you, bring a blanket with you, and lie down on the ground, look towards the sky, try to spot as many meteors as you can. There is some bad news here. The bad news is that in the cities, many of the meteors are going to get washed out. Okay, many of the meteors are going to get washed out because we have got a lot of light pollution in the cities, right? We have got a lot of light pollution in the cities. There's a lot of air pollution in the cities. All of these problems are going to cast some shadow on our meteors, the metaphorical shadow, not a literal shadow. But you can still see a few meteors even in the cities. I would suggest that you go to a sort of rural area, maybe to your grandparents' place, or an area that has got low light pollution. Take your car, go out for a little trip. Isolated from the rest of the population, so no problems related to the coronavirus even. And just lie down on the ground, set up your stuff, and just look at the sky. So going to a dark site would be really good for this. And if you are planning to go to a dark site, please make sure that you are checking out the weather forecast because these days we are having sporadic rains, unexpected rains, and that could be something that could be a downer, that could be um, unpleasant for you. So please make sure that you are checking the weather forecast for that area, that there are no showers in that area, because in that case you won't be able to see the meteors and you'll get drenched in the rain. So we don't want that. Another important thing is that if, let's say, you want to see the meteor showers and you plan to go out at 10 o'clock, don't just go out at 10 o'clock. Go 30 or 40 minutes before the meteor shower starts, right? Lay down, put down your phone, put down your computer screen. Don't look at any bright objects. Don't look at any bright lights during that time. Let your eyes adjust to the darkness for the 30 or 40-minute time duration before the actual meteor shower starts. So this is an important thing. Dark adaptation is very important because meteors are very faint. So you want your eyes to be exactly ready for these very faint phenomena, right? Another important thing, you don't need binoculars, you don't need telescopes, they are not suitable for spotting meteors. And if you want to take photographs of meteors, please make sure that you are bringing a tripod and a camera. You need a tripod to keep your camera stable, or else you won't be able to get proper photographs of meteors. You might try and get some photographs, but it won't be that good. So a tripod would go a long way if you're trying to do this. And if you're setting up your camera, please make sure that you are setting it for long exposure shots. The exposure time, there's a setting in your camera that you can adjust the exposure time. Make sure that exposure time is longer. So from a few seconds up to 1 minute, right? From a few seconds to 1 minute, you can do that. And using these settings, you will be able to actually capture Maitri, from which locations will it be visible? It will be visible from all of the northern hemisphere. So if you are in India, you will be able to see it. As I said earlier, people from the southern hemisphere, they will have an easier time, but even from the northern hemisphere, you will be able to see it. Okay. They won't come and hit you. It's a very low chance of like a meteorite coming and hitting you. As I said, most of the meteorites, they evaporate while they are coming towards the earth. Have you heard of people getting hit by meteors quite regularly? It's a very freak phenomena. It's a freak phenomena, right? So it does not happen that often. Okay. This is how you're supposed to take photographs of these meteors. And if you set your exposure time to greater than 1 minute, you could run into some problems. I would suggest that you don't do this. Don't set it up for longer exposure times. Why? Because in that case, what will happen? You will also cover up the movement of the stars in the sky. The stars are moving in the sky. Those long exposure shots will also have those moving stars. They will leave a trail, and your meteors, they might get covered up by those trails. Okay, so that is why you are not supposed to take even longer exposure shots. It would mess up the pictures of the meteors, right? Okay, so with that, we have covered up a lot about the meteors and how they are supposed to be observed. What are the technicalities related to meteors, right? I hope you guys had fun. I hope you guys learned something new in this whole process. And yeah, so I hope you guys learned something in this whole process. And in case you are hungry for more, in case you have that fire inside you burning to learn about astronomy and space science, I may have something for you. I may have something interesting for you. And that is a community of amateur astronomers. We've got a community that helps each other grow, that helps to contribute to the knowledge that we are all gaining together. So it's a community of amateur astronomers. We are learning a lot about astronomy, about space science, and you can become a part of that community by visiting learn.space-india.com, this website that you can see on your screens right now. And you can also enroll with the iAstronomer program. It has got these interesting weekend sessions. So each weekend throughout the whole year, we've got a discussion on some really fun topic related to astronomy or space science, and we take a deep dive into it. We try to understand it. So this is how you can become a part of a community of astronomers and help yourself grow in this direction, right? So I will be taking up your questions now, and I hope you guys have got yours. Okay, some of you are thirsty for this. Okay, that is great to hear. Okay, let's see what questions you've got about the telescope. Again, for the telescope, Sakshi, you can visit this website, learn.space-india.com. There they have got some telescopes. One is a 50 telescope. It's a beginner telescope. So if you are just starting out in the field of astronomy, you can go for that 50 telescope, and that will help you see planets and moons. And if you are a bit more experienced, there are larger telescopes too. So according to your budget, you can make a choice. Those telescopes that are listed over there, they are the best in their categories. So that is something that you can choose. Others, what is exposure shot? So exposure refers to the time that is taken by the camera to capture the light that is coming from a particular object. So most of the time when we take photographs, that exposure time is really, really small. But for our particular usage over here, we try to increase the amount of time that the camera captures that light. So that is called exposure, and you can find this setting, right? It should be available now. Keep on checking. It should be available. Okay, any other questions, people? So, Mishika, it's going to be nice if you go to a dark side, because the Perseids, they are also happening at the same time. So people have spotted 100, 150 meteors at the same time, like during one session of seeing the meteors. So it can be grand if you put in the effort. If you go to a dark side, it can be an extremely memorable event for you. And this is how you get started on the path of astronomy. Someone pointed out something very interesting. The word meteor comes from a Greek word that means suspended in the air. Very interesting. I did not know that. So thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'll have to check out that if that is true or not, but it could be the case. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. Any other questions, people? Please do let me know in the chat box. Why is Pluto not a planet? So in 2006, the IAU, the International Astronomers Union, they came together and they said that we are going to decide what exactly is a planet. We are going to define what is a planet, and they set some terms for that. So it must be an object that revolves around the sun. So Pluto is an object that revolves around the sun. It must be hydrodynamically in equilibrium or stable, which must, if I simplify it, it means that it must be spherical or stable in shape. The third factor was that it must clear its orbit. There must not be other objects in the orbit that are heavier than that particular object that you consider a planet. So Pluto does not fit this criteria, which is why it's not a planet anymore. Okay, any other questions? 50-second exposures will do. Because I said you have to keep your exposure under 1 minute. Okay, meteoroid and meteorite. Richa, very interesting question. Thanks for bringing this up. Meteoroids are the ones that we have talked about today. They are the remnants of comets or asteroids, and they are floating out in space. Meteor is the condition when they enter into the Earth's atmosphere. And the third word, meteorite, R-I-T-E, meteorite, is when they land on Earth. The very rare phenomena when they are actually able to reach the surface of the Earth, that is a meteorite. So meteorites are very special. We can figure out what meteors and meteoroids and comets and asteroids are made out of if we analyze those meteorites. So it's very interesting. Okay, Lokesh, which is the best telescope? It's a very expansive question. It depends on your budget. It can start from 3,500, go up to maybe a few lakhs. So it depends on your budget and your skill level. If you are starting out, start out with a 50 telescope. assess whether you are interested enough, and then you can move on to bigger telescopes, right? So that you understand that you are actually interested enough in the hobby. Okay. Um, if you've got any inquiries related to the telescope, I'm putting an email address in the chat box. You can send an email over here, and that will they like we will try to help you out in choosing a telescope for yourself. So you've got an email ID in the chat box. Please use that email ID. If you want to buy a telescope, you can make a request over there. As I said, why is Neptune a planet and not Pluto? Because the term that says that talks about clearing an orbit, it says that the mass of the object that is in a particular orbit, it must be greater than the sum of the masses that are sharing that orbit in a sense. So Pluto does not fulfill that condition, but Neptune actually fulfills that condition. Comet is not the same as shooting star. A meteor is a shooting star. Um, a comet is something that is a bit different. Although in some particular conditions, people can also term comets as shooting stars, but most of the time we use shooting stars for meteors. Are aliens real? Till now, we do not have any evidence of alien life. We do not have any concrete evidence of alien life, right? So we are still searching for it. We are trying to find signs of even extinct alien life, but till now we have not succeeded in receiving any concrete evidence. Planet 9 is an interesting phenomena. So the gravitational interactions of the solar system, they sort of suggest that there might be an object lying beyond the orbit of Neptune, and it's a heavy object. Gravitational interactions, they sort of suggest this, but again, we have been looking for Planet 9 for a very long time, and we have still not found it. Again, people are getting very obsessed with the aliens. Statistically speaking, it is very likely that aliens could exist, but till now we don't have any concrete evidence, and since we don't have any concrete evidence, I can't make a solid claim in either direction, whether they exist or they don't exist. Rishabh, the multiverse theory or the parallel universe theory, till now we don't have any solid evidence for that too. It is still a theory. We are working towards it. We are trying to make better calculations in order to confirm it. Venus is called the twin of the Earth because the size of Venus and Earth is very similar. So the diameter of Earth is 12,000 kilometers, around 12,000 kilometers, and Venus is also around 12,000 kilometers. It could be a possibility, Richa. Multiverse could be a possibility, but for now we don't know. Okay, I'll give you guys the email ID again. I'm getting that mail again. So I have entered that email ID over here in the chat box again. Please check it out. Okay, as the speed of a meteor can be really extreme, up to 71 kilometers per second, not hours. So in 1 second, it might cover 71 kilometers as it is passing through the atmosphere. 71 kilometers per second, it could reach that speed. Okay. Let's take a few questions more. So, regarding the rings of Saturn's, there are multiple theories about that, about the rings of Saturn. There are theories that there could have been objects around Jupiter that ended up around Saturn that ended up colliding and creating those rings around it. There are some theories that they are captured by the gravity of Saturn. That was the material that was left over after the formation of Saturn, and that created the rings. In fact, I want to point out something very fun about the rings of Saturn. The rings of Saturn have got little moonlets. If you guys can check out that image, I would suggest checking that out. So in those rings, you can find little moonlets, very small objects that are beginning to take up shape of moons. There currently we do not have confirmation of a black hole in the solar system. In according to current observations, it is very unlikely that there is a black hole in the solar system. Till now, no one has seen an alien. In the future, in the very far future, the sun will expand a little bit, and it will engulf the Earth, Venus, and Mars inside of itself, and it may even reach the orbit of Mars. So that is what the sun is going to do in the future. But it's very far in the future, so you don't really need to worry about it right now. Okay. I personally have not witnessed a UFO or a strange phenomena, but recent reports from the US Air Force and the Navy have exposed some footage related to UFOs that seem very strange. So, in the future, some things could happen, but we don't know for sure right now. The Earth is not going near any black holes. There are no nearby stars that are going to turn into a black hole. Arnav, very interesting question. Arnav has got a very interesting question. If the moon was a broken fragment of the Earth, then how is it near the shape of a sphere? Why is it spherical? Or, for that matter, why are all planets in the solar system spherical? All major, very heavy objects spherical, like all of these heavy objects, they are spherical. The reason for that is that gravity tends to try to make the size of any object as small as it can. And for a particular amount of matter, the smallest size that you can attain is with a sphere. So that is why all solar system based objects, heavier, like after a certain limit, all the heavier objects are spherical. Wormholes are currently only mathematical, they are not physically possible with any source of energy that we have got in our hands right now. They are a mathematical entity for now. Ceres is the largest of the asteroids, and it is so large that it qualifies for the dwarf planet category. That is why it qualifies both of these. Can we live on Mars in the future? It's a question with a very wide scope, but it could be possible. There are tremendous efforts in this direction, but only time will tell. For now, we are putting our best foot forward in planning our Mars colonization missions. So we just have to wait for that. Yes, Jupiter does have some flatness. In fact, most spinning planets have got some flatness at their poles, and that is due to the rotation of them. There, like we have taken a picture of that a heavy object um, in the center of the Milky Way. Not a proper picture, but we have some idea, and it is suspected that it is a supermassive black hole. I think it is very likely that it is a supermassive black hole. Area 51 is a military research facility of the United States, Air Force research facility. There are some theories that they have got an alien over there, but no substantial evidence to prove that. White holes are, for now, they are a mathematical concept, Richa. They are not physical objects. There are no physical white holes till now that we have observed. If the earth was flat, we would have way bigger problems than thinking about Earth being flat because gravity would be completely messed up. There are some exoplanets out there which have got as much oxygen as Earth, but most of the planets in the solar system they don't have much oxygen. Yes, the shape of the Earth is a geoid. That the name for that shape is a geoid. Bermuda Triangle. It's a very it's an urban myth. I want to clarify on this. The Bermuda Triangle and all the myths related to that. It's not a real phenomena. It's just a region of the planet which has got a lot of shipping traffic going through it and a lot of air traffic going through it. And if you have a place that has got a lot of traffic, there are bound to be more accidents in that area. So most credible sources they state that the Bermuda Triangle it does not have anything supernatural or miraculous going on inside of it, right? Okay, I guess we have run out of time for today. This was all the time that we had for this webinar for today. I thank you all for joining me. I'm very thankful that you have been such a great audience. It was so fun to interact with you. You have been great. You've got great questions. Keep this curiosity going on. Stay curious. And I'll see you guys next time. Okay, everyone. And that's me signing off. Bye, everyone.